So the first question, and what I'll do is go back and forth with who starts first, as long as I can remember that. We'll start with you, Mr. Long, first. The first question is, several county elected officials have commented there is not good cooperation between the county engineer's office and their offices. This results in an inefficient use of our tax dollars. What plans do you have for improving cooperation between the engineer's office and other county offices? Mr. Long.
Can everyone hear me? I think so. I can hear myself. So, John Long. The best way to work through a government agency is to work together. I have a good working relationship with the existing elected officials, whether they be township trustees, the county recorder, the county auditor, as well as the commissioners. I feel that if we work together, that we can accomplish more and use our tax dollars more efficiently. How would I go about that? Number one, with the township trustees, visit their meetings regularly, meet with them at the engineer's office. I feel it's important that you meet with the trustees on their turf at their meetings. That way they are in their comfort zone as opposed to the engineer being in his comfort zone. As far as the county commissioners, meet with them on a regular basis and just communicate with them and be available.
Good, thank you. Mr. Terrill?
We do much of the same thing. Something else that we do is we get together on our annual basis with the township trustees. We also have a quarterly meeting with the township trustees. Recently, we've had to cut back on our staff by 1/3, so consequently, it hasn't been as much present as it maybe should have, but we have always had open communications with all the other elected officials. We have phone calls going back and forth. We meet periodically with the commissioners when the issue comes up. We periodically meet with the township trustees. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you. And if you would like to make an additional comment after both of you had the chance to respond to the question, just let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to the next question. Okay? So the next question is, what plans do you have for improving the infrastructure of Wayne County, and how will you fund it to take care of the crumbling bridges and roads? And how do you prioritize?
For me?
Yes, Mr. Terrill, go ahead.
Some of the things that we've been looking at, we're looking at different types of pavement. We just did what is called bog seal up south of Doylestown. We also have done microsurfacing. We've done a cape seal, different types of pavement treatments. As far as bridges, we're in the process of developing and creating a geosynthetically reinforced abutments for bridges, which should reduce the cost by 20 to 30%. I'll stop there. I don't want to see the stop sign.
Okay, Mr. Long.
Do you see him?
The question was, how would you go about prioritizing infrastructure? Okay, how about now? There it is. How would I go about prioritizing infrastructure around the county? Basically, the first thing I would do is, number one, indeed take an inventory of the bridges and the roads. I think that's presently being done. We would look at that inventory and then prioritize it based upon traffic counts as well as the critical movements of traffic around the area, whether they be safety service forces, whether they be businesses and so forth that are the critical routes around the county. How would we go about prioritizing it as far as the utilizing of funds? There's always new technology out there that will continually need to be looked at and employed. Through my time at Schaefer Johnston, we've constantly been looking at ways to improve our efficiency through utilizing new technologies.
Okay. Mr. Terrill?
I just wanted to say that we are doing it as a county engineer right now.
Okay. Let's move on to the next question. What is your position on hiring engineering firms from outside of Wayne County to provide professional services when there are qualified firms in Wayne County who could provide these same services?
That's for me.
Okay. Mr. Long.
My personal opinion of it is that if there are qualified individuals and firms within the county that can provide the services that are necessary and required, then that should be basically what first. There is a qualification-based selection process in which all public entities must select engineering firms. One of the ways, not just engineering firms, professional staff and professional firms. One of the ways in which you can help slate it or slant it, if you will, is that you can put a location-based selection criteria on there where proximity to the project is one of the weighting factors. I feel that there are qualified firms in Wayne County and that they should be utilized to the extent possible because they are here and they are paying taxes.
Great, thank you, Mr. Terrill.
We do have a QBS process. We, in fact, are starting it right now. We do it once a year. And we do it for a number of different types of construction or engineering-related projects. We have modeled ours and obtained acceptance from the Ohio Department of Transportation. And one of their criteria is that you cannot base it upon the location of a consultant. And so consequently, you have to base it upon your past experience and the work that they've done for you and things of that nature.
I'd like to respond to that.
Okay, Mr. Long.
As a firm that submits statements of qualification frequently to ODOT as well as other locales, there always is a location of the proximity to the firm to the project question on this qualification.
All I can tell you is ODOT will be on.
Okay, that was Mr. Terrill. All right. Let's move on to the next question. The engineer's office and several local companies have begun using vehicles operating on compressed natural gas, CNG. Since CNG is not capped, this results in a decrease in gasoline tax dollars that are used to fund road, bridge projects. How should the loss of tax dollars be addressed?
We just purchased a vehicle that runs off compressed natural gas, and there are a lot of other companies that are switching to compressed natural gas, mostly vehicles that have a confined area to travel because the biggest problem is trying to find a place to fill them up. The loss in gas tax at this point in time is de minimis in comparison to the total gasoline, but I'm sure that over time that will be something that will be addressed by the state legislature.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Terrill. Mr. Long?
I basically have two issues against it, one for it. Number one, the opinion for it is a clean burning fuel. It's readily available and it's cheaper. I think it really is the way of the future. Right now, I do have an issue with the infrastructure that's in place to fill these. Right now, the county engineer's office is 15 miles away from the closest filling station. That's distance number one. Number two is the loss of tax. I don't feel it's good practice for an entity that is funded through fuel tax, along with license plate fees, to be advocating for the use of a compressed natural gas fuel that is not taxed at this point. We're in times of limited budgets, and until such time that it is taxed, I don't feel it's proper to be advocating for it.
Okay. Mr. Terrill?
It's not 15 miles away. It's not very far at all. And I understand what my opponent is saying, but I also understand that we have just had to purchase a couple of different vehicles that require Tier 4 pollution control, and we have spent a lot of money trying to make sure that that pollution control works. The CNG vehicles do not use the Tier 4 pollution control. In fact, they have practically no pollution control. I understand the opponent, what he's saying, but I really think that this is something that's a wave of the future, and it's something that ultimately is going to help support our local economy if we have gas in the area. And I don't think that you can stop something if it's on its way.
I would respond to that. I requested it on Thursday of last week, and the county engineer's office, he's got there here in Orville, so it's even going through.
Mr. Terrill?
I'd like to respond to that. We have an agreement with Quasar, and it's not that far away.
Okay. Let's move on to the next question. Currently, the engineer's office is open only 4 days a week during the summer, and the map office is closed at times due to lack of staffing. Please address your positions on providing reasonable access to these offices for citizens and the businesses of Wayne County. Mr. Long, yes.
I feel that during the construction season, that actually year-round, that the engineer's office itself should be open, but especially during the construction season, 5 days a week. The staff within the engineer's office takes the phone calls, deals with permits, deals with reviewing plans, inspecting projects. It is lacking in customer service to be closed on Friday. Now, there are benefits to having the fuel crews and the road crews on a 4-day work week with opening, closing roads, and setting up construction sites and so forth. As far as the tax map, I feel it needs to be open. I work with the other elected officials to make sure that the office is manned during business hours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Long. Mr. Terrill?
When it comes to the four-day week, this is the first year that we've had a 4-day week for the office in the last 20 years. And of all the complaints, I can only think of one complaint. The big advantage for us is that the highway crew does a lot of turnkey work. And so consequently, the engineers and surveyors and everything are available at the beginning of the day and the end of the day to address any construction items. The construction inspectors, if there's a contractor working on a Friday or Saturday, it's typical for them to work those same hours. That's never been done.
Anything else? Okay. And this will be your final question. And your question is what is your position on retire/rehire? Mr. Chair?
Right now, I don't believe that there should be any retire/rehire.
Mr. Long?
Well, I agree with that, and I think the record will show, and public record will show that my opponent in December had filed paperwork to retire and rehire, and I believe it was April of this year after he had an opponent, he did retract that retirement. So my position